I don't have any moderators on here. I moderate the shit myself. So if people want to get vulgar, they could go ahead and get vulgar. Um, this is all the way live with MC2 Tool. It's called MC2 Tool all the way live. This is my first live in a very long time. Very rarely do I do live. I'm contemplating on going to YouTube live on a scheduled basis, like around 2:30 ish. You know, I get on here at 2:30. What do you think? Think that's a good time to get on? Mm-hmm. Wednesday 2:30. What do you think? Can I do like a half an hour? What do you think? Hmm? Let's go, Brandon, motherfucker. Let's go, Brandon. What I don't like about this camera business. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Can I actually? Okay. I see what's going on here. All right, you get out of here before I fucking throw you. Talking to my cat. Anybody making comments? Nobody making comments. All right, because nobody's fucking watching. You're missing out on the greatest entertainment of all time because most of y'all are fucking losers. Let's go, Brandon. And yeah, a lot of yous that don't like to watch my videos are fucking losers, and I'm missing out on life itself. But that's all right, you know. You don't have to love me. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do what I gotta do until somebody chases me off the field and bloodies up my fucking face. If you're not prepared to bloody me up, then you must be prepared to tolerate my bullshit. If you're not prepared to bloody me up, then you must be prepared to tolerate my bullshit. I'm gonna fucking abuse a cat right on camera soon. I like going live because these people are motherfuckers. And Rhea Burke's a fucking asshole that hangs out with dainty. You know what she hangs out? She hangs out with dirty, dainty bums, feminized men, who live in squalor and smell like homeless men. And as you know, homeless men on the train reek. So she hangs out with feminine acting men who smell like the homeless man that has the whole car to himself on the C train. Okay? She hangs out with men who smell like sewage and act like Joan Crawford. Or Betty Davis. She hangs out with men that act like actresses from the 30s and 40s, but smell like sewage. Those are the type of people, those are the type of men that Rhea Burke gets, okay? Whatever stupid fucking name she had for herself. She had some real retarded name for herself. I forgot what her nickname was. Stupid. It was if you could believe it, even a dumber name than Trinity Black or Scarlet Venom. Mm, ah, mm. Ilion. Ilion Camacho. Same last name as Hector Macho Camacho. And just as much involved with the drug game as Hector Macho Camacho. And rumored to be just as much deceased. Rumored to be. But I bet you she faked her own death again. Because she did that before. I bet you. Yeah, so Rhea Burke is disgusting. Jenny Black, I don't believe she's dead. And as far as Scarlet Venom goes, I call her by her new name. The new name I given her is Little Round Rosen. She hates her she hates her last name. Because the last name isn't the maiden name of her mother. It's not the last name of her biological father. It's the name of the man that she divorced prior to procreating to quit with her biological father to create her. So of course she's gonna pretend to hate the last name because it's a married name from a man that she was married to but was not a biological father. So guess what? That's her name then. Legally that's her name. So and she's round, so hence Scarlet Venom is now Little Round Rosen. And I haven't seen her in years. I'm officially legally divorced from her because that's how God wanted it. God never wanted me to marry her in the first place. And she's another one that befriends feminine men that smell like New York's homeless. There are entire homeless shelters that smell better than the men that Little Round Rosen hangs out with. Hmm. See, unlike my exes, unlike my the unlike the men that my exes have attracted since I dumped them, um, I don't have some secret closet weird femininity thing going on. Very important that you know that. Very important that you know I do have a recent habit that I picked up where I just randomly pick up a piece of aluminum foil, turn it into a toothpick, and pick my teeth. That's the worst thing you could say about me. And and clipping fingernails isn't a taboo or disgusting thing to me. If you're not clipping, as long as you're not clipping your fingernails near food, you could clip your fingernails anywhere. It's toenails that are gross. You don't want to clip your toenails out in the open. But I feel it's okay to clip your fingernails out in the open. And it's also okay to adjust your belt. You should be okay with. I see no problem with a man adjusting his belt on his pants. Now, yes, I do have a problem when you open your freaking fly. That's freaking kind of perverted and creepy and weird. If you open your fly in public around a bunch of people, gotta make sure people aren't looking around. Uh, where is that? How do I see your comments? I just saw that. Hey, I'm from the area. Let's see. Hey, I'm from the area. Get the fuck out of the neighborhood I grew up in. Yeah, that's a great thing to do. You got. I have. Well, me. My thing is this. I still have loose ends to tie here. Okay. And this wonderful mansion I live in. Can't stand anyone I know from my teens. Believe it or not, I get along better with people I know from my teens than people I know from my 30s and 40s. Mm. Couple of the people I did music with, like a small band of people that I did the music with, like a few from the punk rock side, a few from the hip hop side, very, very, very tiny, tiny amount from the goth side, and then that's it. As far as the people I know from my 30s and 40s. Um, one or two ex co-workers from MTA, New York City Transit, but they also happen to be people tied to the music end. So I could classify them just if I just classified them strictly as music people, then the ones I only know from New York City Transit and not through music, there's really none there that I could call a friend. A lot of them support communism. Oh yeah, there's a lot of selfish people, a lot of big egos, a lot of childish behavior, a lot of childish behavior. Big egos, small brains. You know, they don't. They don't, they refuse to look at the big picture. They want the spotlight on themselves. But but I've managed to make friends with and stay friends with some of the people that didn't look at it that way. That basically, it, they approach it like not like look at me, but more like look at all the fun we are having together as a group. That's and I had more fun performing in front of other musicians than I did in front of like total strangers that I never met before. But it was the people that I was cool with, not the ones that are full of themselves. Because there are plenty of musicians that are full of themselves, and those are the ones I don't fuck with. Mm, 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 mm. I wonder if I could continue watching my shit here. Mm, mm, mm. So, mm. So there's a guy that can't figure out how to play Doctor Doom, and this, and he's trying to figure out how he could beat Doctor Doom. His daughter tells him some kind of Chinese word. He's like, "What the hell is that?" She goes, "Kick him in the face." Mm. So I thought that was pretty cool. Right, man. So I'm trying to do this like 2:30 on Wednesdays. I figure this will be a good thing. Figure call it all the way live because there's no program called all the way live. Um, and yeah, I will say this: the the neighborhood I grew up in, because there's a lot of the people. Uh, you got a lot of people that they're like, oh, oh, Johnny Krantz. They don't even call me MC Too Tall. They don't even call me John. They call me Johnny Krantz, as if I've given them the right to fucking call me Johnny. That's the name cousins could call me. I'm okay with cousins calling me that. I'm okay with cousins, aunts, and uncles calling me that. Not fucking people I'm not related to calling me Johnny. No, unless it's a chick I'm on top of. If it's a chick I'm on top of, then that Johnny better be accompanied by Johnny Muscle. Then it better be like, oh, Johnny Muscle, or something like that. But anyway, people like, oh yeah, you see Johnny Quest, he thinks he's a rapper. We encourage that fucking nerdy kid to be a rapper. Well, little does he know that we were making fun of him and his nose. But meanwhile, these motherfuckers won't pick up their hands to break my nose. Oh, what's that saying? Boo, boo, boo. You're not a New Yorker if you don't have a nickname in the neighborhood, though. Mm. Oh, oh, oh. Look, there are some people that call me Johnny Muscle. There are some people that call me Too Tall, and I'm okay with that. The ones that call me Johnny Krantz, those are the people. Those, and these are people that have reached us. They've reached their height in life, and they didn't climb up to anything higher than I am. Mm, you know, they reach a certain height in their life, and then they didn't go higher. But it's not the neighborhood that bothers me as much as the scene. The neighborhood I could live with. Because there's places in the neighborhood where I'm very well respected. And I just go to those places. You know? Neighborhood and scene are two different things. Neighborhood, any place around here that I could walk to within Gravesend, Bensonhurst, I'm cool with the neighborhood. Scene. Now we're talking about anywhere from these dive bars at Park Slope to the dive bars in downtown Brooklyn, Greenpoint, Williamsburg, those dive bars, way up through the Lower East Side, East Village, what have you, Alphabet City and whatnot. You know, and so those are the people that I have issue with because those people they decided out of the blue to be political activists. They decided out of the blue that if you have something to say about Obama that isn't words of worship about him, that all of a sudden you're their personal enemy, and that you're a white honky racist. If you notice that you vote for this scumbag, and the scumbag did nothing to overturn anything that the previous scumbag did that was very scumbaggy, and in their second term turned out to be worse than both their predecessors' first terms. and when you point that out, you point out that they were an antidote to George Bush, but a continuation of George Bush. You get looked upon as the enemy. All of a sudden, if you criticize Barack Obama, that means you're running around with a leather vest, killing homosexuals, and urinating on black people because you're criticizing Barack Obama. Everybody who criticizes Barack Obama is somehow a, a homophobe and wants to commit murder at every same-sex marriage going. All of a sudden, anybody that criticizes Barack Obama is the homophobe of homophobes. A racist too, but even more so a homophobe. Mm-hmm. And that's why they should fuck. That's why you should fucking. Mm, that's why. That's why they should get that friggin' ass. Yes, we grew up in some crazy times. And we're witnessing some even crazier times right now. Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, they just showed Jasmine Crockett. She's not very intelligent. But anyway. But anyway, the scumbag, Barack Obama, I criticize him and I get picked on for it. And so, and I knew no way. And I knew no way was I going to support Hillary Clinton. I despise Hillary Clinton. There's nothing for the greater good of humanity that could come from Hillary Clinton. So that's when I became not just a MAGA supporter, a mega MAGA supporter. To the point where I would dive in front of a bullet. I would dive in front of a bullet to protect Donald Trump. You know what? Oh no. Me? I went to school like a normal kid. Bernie Bernie is a communist. He's worse than a socialist. He calls himself a democratic. He's a straight up Stalinist. If Bernie Sanders were president of the United States, people would be getting the death penalty for criticizing his administration. He's that much of a Stalinist. And people talk about Castro being a great leader. Castro sent Che Guevara to people's houses to blow their heads off in front of their families. Drag them out, tie their hands up, put them on their knees, and boom, blow their heads off. And often he wouldn't have his henchmen do it. He'd pull the trigger himself. Mm. And because of some power struggle, what he's doing over there? Because of some power struggle between fucking Castro and Che Guevara, Castro kicked Che Guevara out, and then he dug him up from a hole in Nicaragua or Colombia or something. Maybe Bavaria. Not Bavaria. Bolivia. So they dig him up out of a hole somewhere, and he kind of died in a similar way that Gaddafi died in. You know, and we would be getting something like that if Bernie Sanders was president. I don't support communists. I despise communists. Communism is wrong, and it's even better. I'll tell you what. I'm no fan of Adolf Hitler's. Okay, Hitler is a villain, and nobody could tell me Hitler was a very nice man. Nobody could tell me anything positive came from Adolf Hitler. But it's still better to be Hitler than Stalin. It's better to be Hitler than anything communist. First of all, yes, 6 million Jews does sound like a lot of Jews, but think about it. That number is double. You name any communist leader, and that number of Jews alone is doubled. Of Jews alone. Pick any communist leader outside of the Asian countries where Jews don't live. But, Castro killed Jews in Cuba. Freaking Stalin and Lenin killed Jews in Soviet Russia and expanded throughout the other satellite countries that were supposed to be free countries after World War II. So, this is why that's a good burger. I don't even know where the fuck it came from. But, yeah. That's why I don't support Bernie Sanders. That's why I don't support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Cat hair. Anybody referring to themselves as a socialist is my mortal foe. And black men posing as women are my mortal foe too. Hence, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is my mortal foe. Michelle Obama ain't Barack's baby mama. Oh yeah, thankfully. Because after a while, you do a little bit of research, everybody can be fooled. Everybody can be fooled. Hell, I was in my late 30s when I voted for freaking Barack Obama in 2008. I just turned 39 years old. I just turned 39 years old at the time when I voted for that prick Barack Obama. So you're never too old to learn something, you know? So yes, I did make that mistake at an age when I should have known better. But you learn from it. you realize that the bastard is a continuation of Bush, and then you vote for the libertarian guy because you still don't fully trust the Republicans, especially when they put somebody like Mitt Romney up against Obama. You put somebody like Mitt Romney up against Obama, and you know Obama's fucking up, but you're looking at Romney and you're thinking to yourself, "Fuck that shit." I voted for the Libertarian candidate. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2012, contemplating on voting for him again in 2016. But then when I started listening to Donald Trump, it's like, this person is saying shit that I've really, really never heard anybody say before. This ain't the same old, same old. See, you don't expect black people to be snake-like. You expect them to be more warm-blooded. But Barack Obama proved to be a cobra. And people want to be racist, compare him to primates and things like that. But no. The man is a cobra. Barack Obama is more comparable to a cobra than any mammal walking the face of the earth. There is something very inhuman about him and very cold about him. And by God, the Republicans couldn't come up with anyone better than Mitt Romney to go against him. McCain screwed up twice. He could have run against Bush. We could have worked on primarying out Bush. It's okay to primary out a president. It's been done before. Franklin Pierce was primaried out by James Buchanan, who turned out to be even worse, but you get the idea. So, yeah. They could have worked towards primarying out George W. Bush. But McCain fucked up, did not run in 2004. And then he had a chance to run in 2012, seeing that Obama was fucking up. But instead, they put Mitt Romney up against him. And that's just screwed up. That's just screwed up. And you can't have things that are screwed up like that in this world. Because then you end up, I don't know. You end up screwing up yourselves. So, by 2016, now, here's an opportunity that worked in our favor, though. The Democrats could have run Joe Biden, could have realized people didn't like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton ran against Obama, lost in the primary to Obama. She was a face that everyone was familiar with, first lady, senator. They could have learned from that and said, let's not put Hillary Clinton as our main candidate. Let's not make Hillary Clinton our main candidate. Let's put Joe Biden in the race. Joe Biden would have won. Joe Biden would have actually won presidency in 2016. Imagine if he had won presidency in 2016, fucked up for 4 years, and then Trump comes in, in 2020, and then wins re-election in 2024. That's how it should have went. But they put Hillary up against Trump, and she lost. Okay? Biden would have been a better candidate. But that's okay, because it works in the favor of the team that I wanted to win in 2016. And some people call these guys rhinos. I call them snakes. I call them snakes. I call them slugs. I call them I call them I call them slimy Republicans, because they're not real Republicans. They're Republicans that operate like Democrats. So the Republican in name only, I don't like using that term. I just like calling them slugs or weak Republicans or saboteurs of the Republican Party. The slimy redheaded stepchildren of the Republican Party. Anything but a rhino, because a rhino is a lovable, warm-blooded creature. But anyway, we gotta stop primarying these bastards out. Start getting more constitutional people in office. You know? We gotta start getting more constitutional people in office. Holy crap. And man, Pixie, I am so glad you're watching this video. Because if not for me, I'd be alone. So anyway, I'm glad we got some viewers here. I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have any viewers in my life. But I think what I should do is every Wednesday around 2:30, I should do this. I should do a Wednesday, do my MC2 Tool show, my pre-broadcast thing, but also do this live. And I have to figure out how to do intro and all that other stuff. I mean, I wish there was a way to like, oh, that turns it. Oh, okay. Aha. What's this thing do? I'm just learning different things here. That does that, okay. Oh, Necro, I found you talking about Trump. Oh, wow, awesome. You see that? You're relatable. Oh, you're saying that? Oh, okay. The reason why I did it horizontal is because I got my stand here. But I figured, if I do the, oh, I see what that is. That's what that thing is on the bottom. Something. So you're saying that I should go long ways. So instead of doing it this way, I should do it this way. Mm-hmm. 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 No, yeah, cool. That's what I should do then. Yeah. So what we'll do is this horizontal thing, we'll make it, call it all the way live. The long way one, we'll make it all the way live. Haha. Yeah. Yeah, Necro. Yeah, I follow Necro. I actually, I'm actually very good close friends with Sabak Red from Nonfiction. I know Sabak Red from Nonfiction since he was like 14 years old, and me and him used to cipher, and I I used to battle rap in high school or whatever, and I think I was like I think I was like 39-2, both, and the two were both Sabak Red. This is back when we used to call him Johnny Red, because real name is John. He's a Italian Puerto Rican kid that looks Irish. But anyway, um, anyway, battle him twice, lost. But what I what I used to like doing is that I would do beatbox and he would rhyme, and then he would do beatbox and then I would rhyme, and then we just go back and forth ciphering by Lafayette High School. Like a little there's like a little asphalt covered park called Lafayette Playground. Then at the edge of the playground is a little area with benches and stuff. Just out just outside the playground area is a little area with benches, and over there is where me and him would cipher. And it was so funny because once in a while we'd beatbox for each other, but other times we'd have like a third party come along and do the beatboxing or whatever, or maybe somebody with strong fists would slam their hands on the tables because it was like benches and tables. The tables had like little checkerboard designs so people could play chess and checkers and stuff. Uh, but but the real scoop was like this. So many blackheads would gather around us. So I wonder what it must have looked like to somebody from the outside looking in, looking at this crowd, seeing all these big black guys pumping their fists, oh, and then they look in the center and see two white kids. Me, long and lanky, with big poofy blonde hair, and this freaking redheaded kid, pale faced redheaded kid, going back and forth. But I'll tell you this, I'm not ashamed of my two losses to Sabak Red because we're talking about a member of one of the most world-renowned underground rap groups of all time. Okay, so to lose my only two battles in my life, and it was to him, and I actually burned people who burned. I actually burned a couple of MCs who burned him when he was up and coming. So it puts us all at par with one another. It puts us all at par with one another. So when I heard it, he was with Nonfiction. That's when I started learning the different names of the other members, like Ill Bill, DJ Eclipse, and so forth. Um, I learned that Necro produced all the early nonfiction stuff. So I started listening to Necro. It was a little bit different. It was a little bit more edgy and such. It made Eminem look very mild by comparison, and it was kind of like Insane Clown Posse, but more gritty, more detailed, more Brooklyn. It had more of a Brooklyn grit to it. So you could hear like the freaking Beastie Boys influence in there, as opposed to any kind of Detroit influence. Because Beasties, of course, were from New York. Mm-hmm. 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 So, so then, of course, Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde. I heard that he was doing an in store. I heard he was doing an in store, and he was dropping off some CDs, like rare demos. What was it? Rare demos and freestyles. And so I went to Fat Beats, the cop, and I figured while I'm there, might as well drop off my Conglomerate album. So I dropped off my Conglomerate album a couple days earlier. This way I could announce that it's there, well, on September 1st of that year. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because I got to meet Mr. Hyde, shake hands with him and stuff. Then I started showing up to the in-stores, showing up to the Necro concerts, the La Coca Nostra concerts. I showed up to a concert that was supposed to be a nonfiction concert, but that was the very week they split up and they kicked Gore-Tex out. So instead of calling it nonfiction, they called it Ill Bill. It's a Bach Red featuring DJ Eclipse. And I showed up to that, and it was pretty dope. Went to the La Coca show, saw Johnny Red again. Sabak Red again. And I got to meet all these other cool people. Yeah, I got to shake hands with Everlast, the infamous Everlast of House of Pain. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I met Paul Wall, freaking Tech Nine. Later on, I got to shake hands with members of Hollywood Undead. I got to shake hands and make friends with Frankie. From My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. I know him as Frankie. I mean, people might have other names for him, but I know the dude is Frankie. I have a friend. When I switched over to the friggin' the goth and punk rock scene, which I was kind of like moving back and forth. But when I plunged further into the punk rock and goth portion, I performed on stage and billed at this bar called Otto's in New York City. You probably know it. And it was a no cover charge event. It was an event with no cover charge. We the top performers get a piece of the bar. Top performers get a piece of the bar, and the main act, the headliner, didn't want a dime. He decided to show up and play an acoustic 12-string guitar set, and he made it like a gathering with his friends. And you could tell the man did not need the money. He had this really nice, fine Italian suit. He had this really well made, well crafted 12-string guitar. Like I said, it was an acoustic. He brought a sound engineer with him to work this this bar's soundboard that had knobs and not levers. That's how far back that goes. And so that's who you had on this soundboard. And that person's name was Alan Merrill. Alan Merrill uh, wrote and did lead vocals for a band called the Arrows. And one of their hit songs was the inspiration for somebody to cover it and then turn that cover into one of the biggest hits of all time. Of course, I'm talking about the song I Love Rock and Roll. And of course, Joan Jett was the person that covered it and made it an even bigger hit. But it was a hit on its own right in the late 70s, in the mid to late 70s. And I think the Arrows version had a little bit more punch to it. It had a little bit more punch to it, but the Joan Jett version had a little bit more grit to it. So they're each lovable in their own right. Um, Now, the Britney Spears version, listening to it, I could take it or leave it, but I don't mind watching the video because Britney Spears, you know. I don't I don't have to be into her music to enjoy looking at Britney Spears, to be honest. But anyway, that's just me. That's just me. But I got to do a show with Alan Merrill, which I thought was pretty cool. I got to do a show with another blast from the past, a gentleman by the name of a brother by the name of Brett Smiley, who had passed away since. Alan Merrill passed away too recently, but Brett Smiley, I got to meet, and I did my thing. Lil Ron Rosen, who was called Scarlet Venom at the time, she was my DJ for the performance. And yeah, we basically did our thing up there. And Brett Smiley, I got to meet the incomparable Brett Smiley. And I tell you, I got no regrets, no remorse about that. It was a place called Uncle Mike's, I believe. I believe the place was called Uncle Mike's. And then I performed at Auto Shrunken Head with Alan Merrill. I also performed in Bay Ridge with Alan Merrill, a place called Three Jolly Pigeons. I booked Sean Strange for Southpaw. Who else did I do? There's a band called Saints of Pain that were pretty big in the 2010s, the early 2010s, the late 2000s, early 2010s. And yeah, I think I did pretty good for myself. I think I did pretty good for myself. Um, I also performed in Queens. There used to be an event in Queens called Berlin. Of course, not the name of the city, not the name of the venue. It was just the name of the party event. And it was a monthly. And I was there. I did the following show right after the Bile show. And the promoter there said that I'm all right, but I'm no Bauhaus, or I'm no Rammstein, or something like that. And he told me that he was a drummer for a band that was a warm-up act for Rammstein. So that's why he was making the comparison. Okay, great. So in other words, you're telling me you're never going to book me again. Okay, that's okay. Why don't you just admit to me you're a prick? But anyway, the guy, the guy was kind of mad because I wouldn't let him get a piece of ass from my then girlfriend at the time. Which probably if he would have helped himself a little bit more when I wasn't looking, she probably would have went with him anyway. That sassy slut that she was. But that's another story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what I did was, yeah, I started walking away from it like around 2013. Got back into it 2014. I stepped away from it by the end of 2013. Got back into it in 2014. And well, actually, towards the end of 2013, I booked one of my biggest birthday bashes. I had Lady Zombie headlining. A lot of people don't know who Lady Zombie was, but she was a pretty big act at the time. In 2012, 2013, 2014, she was a pretty big act in her days. So I performed with her. We had the crowd pretty packed. I always book whenever I would do something at Otto's or whatever. I would always book Rue, whatever band she would be, which she had a band called the Rude Ones, REWDONES, ONEZ, sorry, and she had a she had a good band, and basically she was in the studio. She was a solo artist, but she never just called herself Rue with her backup band or whatever. It would always be Ruby, the Rude Ones. I forgot the other names. Black Flamingo, Flack Blamingo. I mean, she would have all kinds of creative names. She's got another project. This lady keeps reinventing herself, and I love her for it. She's got another project, and I forget the name of the project she does now, but it's pretty damn freaking awesome. I'll tell you, it's pretty damn freaking awesome. And I wasn't expecting to be on here for an hour, but I'm gonna have to cut this off very soon. I'm glad I got to do this. I'm glad I got to share a piece of my soul with a live audience. And perhaps I can one day do this again. But I really, really would love to do this again. I'm going to try Wednesday, 2:30. Try to remember it. And, well, I have about 50 seconds left. Maybe 48 seconds or something like that. So I'm going to bid you, my vast audience of John Crancians, a good day. And as I always say to my people, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, tell all your friends about me, stay strong, and please keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Tuto. You be good now.